Hey guys, back with another video. Back with another video. Today we'll be talking about what if Deku was abandoned, and this is a well used concept, and I don't like to use things that people use all the time. Although I use Naruto Cha a lot, but that's different. For some reason, I just don't like to do popular things or really depressing stuff. For some reason, although I low key the most depressed person in the world. Let me explain something. I'm the type of nigga that would wear a hoodie for no reason, just because I wanted to wear a hoodie. Although I outside hot AF, but I still wear the hoodie for no reason. I'm the person that want it to rain every single day because I want it to rain. I'm the type of person to want to wear black every day, even though I'm outside hot AF. I'm the one that want my hair long AF, so I'll be able to move it. Like I'll be able to push it between my and like cover my eye with my hair at least one time. That's how I be on that shit. anyways, anyways. So disclaimer. This what if is gonna kind of be a little depressing and a kind of a little disturbing at some points. So if you're not like, if you're not ready for some shit like that, if you're not ready for that some shit like that, get off this video, please. Look, I'm not trying to get any flags. Like I don't wanna. I'm disclaiming you first because I don't feel like putting AT the league on this. What if people think like it's one of those with it, so let me come and watch it. Nah, it's a serious one. I'm not gonna lie, there might be some little scenes I'm not put in. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna cap. But yeah, I just want you to know that, guys. I'm not trying to get demonetized here. Let's get into this fucking what if. So we started this what if at Izuku being born, really, and he has black hair and yellow eyes, like you see on the screen, and like the only difference we can see from the screen is that he had curly hair at this point. Inko and Hazashi took Deku home and started to raise him. Deku each the rate of he went to the quirk doctor not too long after that, and the quirk doctor announced him to have a quirk, but the quirk wasn't that strong. The quirk could only manipulate paper, and that was it. Maybe even store paper things inside of the paper, but other than that, no. Now let's explain Deku's father's quirk. Deku's father in canon had a fire breathing quirk, what I see as bullshit, because we all know Deku's daddy is all for one, but I digress. I know one can tell me different. Anyways, even if they prove that it's not, no one can tell me different. This nigga was all for one's child. I don't care if Inko cheated on Hazashi. It happened. Okay, so okay. So like he has a plant quirk, a tree plant that he can create trees out of his hands and stuff like that. Now he was hoping for him because Inko had a technokinesis. Damn it. Anyways, telekinesis, damn it, telekinesis quirk. He was hoping that his son could control trees and other stuff. He wanted his son to be a young Hashirama, like low key, but like no, Deku's not with that shit, right? So he gets a little angry because yeah, they're going through some rough times. I'm not gonna lie, they're going through some rough edges, bro. But anyways, I digress again. Anyways. So Deku was out here running a gang, and no, sorry, I need to stop. Anyways, so Deku goes back home. He's not that excited that he has a quirk. He likes that he has a quirk, and he's not quirkless. Because let's say like quirkless people are like treated differently. They're not as bad, but like it's different, right? They seem as something not human, which technically y'all niggas not human, but fuck talking about. Anyways, a a time passes and Hazashi is just going off on Deku. Like he's beating this nigga up. He's like mocking him, telling him that he's useless. All this bullshit, right? And he just decides to get rid of Deku. He goes to orphanage and he signed up for Deku to get a like to put into the orphanage. Then they drove off there. But Inko does not like this one bit. She is mad AF, but she can't do anything. So So before Deku goes, she's crying. She's low key sad AF, right? She's tearing up. She grabs a hoodie that she didn't even let Deku wear as a kid, but this is her favorite hoodie. Her great grandmother gave her this goddamn hoodie. She wouldn't let no one touch it, but now she gave it to Deku. Deku's rocking the hoodie gang now. I'm sorry to stop, okay? Deku is just like she gave it to him, and she takes off a necklace that was on her neck, obviously. Wait.
Don't go outside and take out the thing in the road, the garbage thing in the road.
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Oh, damn. God. Guys, I'm just gonna be blunt with you. I'm gonna tell the truth. Like, this thing, like, the garbage can outside, right? Because we, like, have to get our garbage picked up. So, it's outside by the, like by the sidewalk or something. And it fell down. And I had to go and pick it up, which I hate. Because I had to get my hands nasty. Well, at least I wore gloves. Maybe 3 or 2 pairs. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, 4 pairs because I hate touching trash. But like, anyways, so Deku, whatever was that? Oh, so Inko took off her chain and gave it to Deku. The chain was holding the chain that was the thing that was on the chain was a woman holding a child with wings. And on the back it says Mama's Angel. She bought that the day Deku was born, and yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Deku understood what was going on. Deku was a very smart person. A very, very smart person at that. He was a genius. He's Tony Stark level, bro. But anyways, he was like that. He was a different breed. He just raised different, right? He just built different. But anyways, he understood that his mom did not want to do this, but yes, her husband and all that bullshit. So yeah, Deku just went into the orphanage, and years passed after that. But like, yeah, and Deku has not had the best time in the orphanage. You see, people with not flashy quirks, or people that like are considered as weak, are not treated the best. And this goes for Deku mostly. You see, when Deku was in the orphanage, the head mistress kind of raped the fuck out of him. Like, she used to it used to be small, but like it used to be small. Like, she used to touch his leg, just like touch, always see to hold him. Deku had no like didn't look at it too much, but like after a while, she started to get like touch certain places that she shouldn't have been. Started touching his neck, then went onto his chest, then went to below his knees, then slid up from there. And now after a while, she straight up like raped this nigga, like on God. And he just at some point he just couldn't take it anymore and he ran away. Well, let's get back a time before he ran away, like a few minutes after. Deku was holded up in a corner, and paper was flying around off of him. Paper was coming off of him. It looks like his skin was like cracking. If you know Conan, that's what was happening to his skin. And he was just like having a mental attack, a silent mental attack. And he's just there crying. Because he does not like this feeling. He knows it is wrong and he just does not like it. And his paper, it turns black. And kanji start forming. A kanji for fire, ice, poison, and healing appeared on the cards, on the paper. It's written in kanji, well, small kanji. And they started to float around Deku. And then the final one, explosion. Now, Deku's still been going to school, and he still met Bakugo, so tough for him. Anyways, Deku just packed all of his stuff and ran away. He ended up in a forest, and he stuck there for a few days. He still kept the hoodie and the chain that his mother gave him, and he's still there just chilling. Only until a bear came and attacked him. The bear was hunting him down. He didn't know what to do. Then he shot paper at it. But this paper was more like cards now. This paper wasn't flimsy anymore. It was straight. It was more like cards. And when it hit the bear, it sliced the skin off of him. And the bear started to get hurt. And it wanted to run. It just wanted to run away from Deku now. But Deku was not letting him. The bear had not too long sliced Deku on his chest, leaving a big scar. And when it heals, it's gonna have a different pigmentation off his skin, because you know when a scar happens, your skin kind of gets darker than it naturally is, and it's all the way down his chest on the slant. So like, it's noticeable, but his body won't affect from it. So Deku is just running after this nigga, and well, this beer anyways, and he just decides that's enough, and then a bunch of paper starts coming out of Deku's body, and I mean a bunch, and it wraps around the bear, and he says Katsk, and the bear explodes. Deku was shocked. This was much like Bakugo's explosions. That he knows that, and he looked at it, and then there was blood all over his paper or cards, whichever you want to specify it as. He picked it up, and the blood started to soak into the paper. And this beer had a quirk, shock absorption. So, yeah. If you know what I'm gonna do, you know what I'm gonna do. Like, low-key, Deku about to be overpowered. Anyways, Deku looked down at the paper, and looked at his paper, and turned around the card, because all he could see on the first side of the card was explosion. Then he looked over and he saw that, and then he saw ice, fire, acid, and healing. Like, goddamn, his card low-key overpowered. But let's time skip before that, before he ran away, and before this happened. Deku was walking around, and a villain attacked him, and then All Might came, and he defeated the villain. Deku asked All Might about Even with a quirk like his, can he still become a hero? And All Might told him bluntly, "You can never become a hero with that type of quirk. Sorry, kid. That's just how the world works. You'll never be a hero. So just give up and become a police or something." Deku was not hearing this answer one bit. People keep doubting him and doubting him and doubting him. He doesn't know why. Why is this happening to him? And this is when Deku's hair becomes flat, like how it is on the screen, and his eyes become lifeless. He stayed in his forest for a little bit until he met two people. One had straight pink hair, with with yellow eyes, just like his, but they looked more like targets, or like the things that you see in snipers. But anyways, then they had this light blue haired girl, which also looked a little bit older than him and the girl. She had a what a color? I don't care. She had long hair, and you could tell that she was older than them, but not by much. Deku looked at them. Deku right now had his flat hair, with some of it being a little bit gray, but not too much of it. He having that emotionless look on his face. They looked at him and just decided, and they started to talk with him. They shared their story. The pink-haired girl, her actual name was Mei Hachime. He told them that she was making one of her babies and it kind of blew up half of her house, and her parents called her a monster and kicked her out. Najire said that her parents wanted to force her into a quirk marriage with this some old dude that she didn't like. He was old and ugly and was straight up creepy. Deku looked at them and saw a little bit of himself in them. I decided to hang around them for a little bit. Until one day, Deku was exploring the forest because they've been living there for a while, and he fell into like a pit of sorts, and it knocked him out. But when he waked up, he saw a vault. He then said, "Perfect, a test dump." Now, I would like you to know that Deku's like personality is not the same. Hold up, let me make sure this like. Okay. Deku then let a card out of his hands and let it go on the metal vault of sorts. And he said acid. And acid started to bubble from the card. And it melted the vault door. And out came a flood of money. Gold, diamonds, gems, crowns, a lot of freaking stuff. Deku then saw this and remembered the one thing that his quirk could have done before everything else. He let it out, a lot of paper, well, a good amount of paper, and he pushed it towards the money, and it started to absorb into the paper or cards, whatever you want to say. And then the paper came back into it to him. Deku then decided not to tell them and surprised them with the money later. He goes back like everything was normal, but in the night he sneaked off. He went to a kind of like a jeweler or a history library, some ways that he can like trade off of this. He explained to them what happened to him, and there was a mind reader there that actually solid his claim. Police came and did all their stuff, and they gave him the money for the exchange. Now Deku is a multi-billionaire at this point because of amount of that gold and historical crowns. It was a lot of shit, right? Now he has a lot of money in his name, and he's, let's say, it isn't in the My Hero Academia.
For plot only sake, you don't you don't need to be a specific age to have a bank account or a credit account. So Deku goes over and he makes a credit. He signs up with a bank and all of that shit, right? And he goes back to the forest. Deku's not been to the forest a few days. He's gone in and out of the forest time to time and does his own stuff. Which Nejire and Hachime, I'm gonna call her Hachime sometimes, but like yeah, Nejire and Hachime doesn't really mind. And at this point, they have gone a relationship and they have become boyfriend and girlfriend, both of them. Deku has been like that for a while and just decides he's been investing into a company. He bought his own company and he's been inventing something called a capsule, and he invented it and he carried it to people and people tested it out and they decide that this is basically a capsule, like a capsule for Dragon Ball. And we was gonna use that because that's a pretty good idea. And he keeps making capsules. He makes quick suppression handcuffs, quick suppression like wristbands, and quick suppression pills, and all of those things. So people like, I can't remember her name, the Invisible Girl. She can get her looks back because Deku is able to suppress her quirk to the point. And also learning about his other abilities using his paper or cards. Also, Deku over time has become a multi-billionaire. Well, multi-trillionaire at this point. Now Deku decides to buy a house finally, and he buys it. Deku carries Nejire and Hachime to this house. They see the house and ask him what this house is, and then Deku tells them that this is their house now. Nejire and Hachime are excited, and they go into the house, take a shower, put on some fresh clothes, and they just start living their best lives. Then we time skip. Deku's accountants and employees tell him that the that a company wants to partner up with them, but at a price. They want Deku to marry their daughter. Deku doesn't like being sold off as some just plaything, and they say they at least try it. And Deku gives in and goes to the house, where he finds a little girl just around his age. Well, maybe he being a little bit older than her, with black hair. This is Mama. This you just wanted to know. And Deku walked in, and Mama was expecting an old man. Like, this happens a lot in quirk marriages. Like, old fucking people. That happens a fucking lot. And she was just expecting the worst from this person. But onto her notice, she has a main character as a boyfriend, so it doesn't really matter to her now. She's dating a main character now, so she doesn't have any worries in the world. Anyway, they get to talking, and Deku and Momo goes on a few dates, just to feel it at each other out. Momo knows about Nejire and Hachime, Nachime and Hachime and Neri know about Momo. Deku goes, and so Momo officially decides to date Deku. Deku's a very kind person sometimes. He's from first sight, you see Deku as a emotionless person, a person that you couldn't approach or say anything to. But that was far from the truth. Deku was a kind person when you got to know him. Kind, caring, and loving person. And it's just an added bonus that he's hot. It's just an added bonus. No homo that because I'm not with that. I'm not with that shit. But I don't discriminate. I honestly say this every fucking video. I say this shit. Y'all guys know my dojo. I'm not gonna discriminate from other races. If you wanna date men, bro. Like, it's your life. It's not mine or it's no one others, bro. Do you? I'm not gonna do me. It's just how it raised, bro. I put that on God. Anyways, Deku starts training with Momo and Momo Hachime or Mei. Hachime and Tatsume. Not Tatsume, fuck. I can't remember, I forgot her name. Damn it. Anyway, she'll be at school at this point. So like Deku's at school too, but she's probably going into UA. So Izuku would start going to school and training with the rest of his girls. Nejire. Damn it. Fuck is Nejire. Nejire. He's been training with Momo, Nejire, and Hachime. And he's just chilling. He still has to deal with that Bakugo and his cocky attitude. But other than that, he doesn't care. And the bullying is way worse because Bakugo sees Deku quirk as useless. And this is an added bonus that his parents abandoned him. So, yeah. So Deku decides to go and starts to train with them and actually unlocks all his powers and unlocks ice, fire, poison, and acid, and healing and shock absorption. Well, doesn't his shock absorption is primarily from his um cards or paper because that meant his cards can take punches and not like tear or anything. But Deku got a new ability, and a new kanji appeared on his cards. The kanji for lightning, and he realized that he can sprout lightning from the cards, or he could engulf his cards with lightning, and the lightning is purple. So Deku doesn't have any mind of this, and he keeps on training his quirk every single day, and burning him out every single day. And it's come to such a habit of how it is that he didn't even realize it, but he started to get into a lazy mood set and become a lot like Aizawa. But anyways, Deku still rocks his white hoodie. He washes that shit every single day. He doesn't give a fuck. That's the only thing that he has from his mother right now, and he's gonna keep it. And his like necklace or chain, whatever you want to say it is, like it's still a prized possession of Deku's. So Deku goes and the paper thing comes on, and the paper where the teacher chose up the paper and everything. Now Deku always had his hoodie on, so no one actually never but Bakugo ever saw Deku's face, to be honest. Well, Deku only saw Deku's face when he was a kid, so like he doesn't know how Deku looks now because Deku always hides his face for some reason. And Bakugo and the teacher still says that Izuku and Bakugo wants to attend UA. Now, when Bakugo hears this and says, "Huh, that nerd wants to become, go to UA, he's never gonna pass." And since like the quirk society is fucked up, Bakugo would wouldn't even care if the teacher was there, and he would try to throw up explosion on Deku's desk, and it would obviously hit Deku at some point and burn him. But Deku cut his hand before he could do it, and it surprised Bakugo because Deku never really acted or did anything when he tried to mess with Deku. And in this altercation, Deku's hoodie kind of comes off his face, and all the girls saw this hot ass guy. Like, is that Deku? Izuku? And all of them are just shocked to see Deku's real face. Deku looks Bakugo in the eyes and tells him that you're weak, you're pathetic, and that's all it will be. He then lets cards out of his hands and shoots them towards Bakugo, and it slices Bakugo everywhere. And Bakugo is just shocked. Deku didn't even try to beat him, but he beat him without even trying. Now that makes no sense, but don't call me out on that. Deku just grabs his bag and walks out of the door. Everyone's shocked, if one, to see Deku's real face, second, that Deku beat the ever-living shit out of Bakugo, and just three, that he just got the swag. Like, he just oozes off this aura of I don't give a he just exuding like Air Force energy, bro. Black Air Force energy. He's just exuding that. Like, he just and he just walks out of the class like a gangster. And he goes out. This story is supposed to be sad, but I low-key having fun with it. Anyways, Deku just walks out and goes. He doesn't go to the bridge. He actually goes home because his home is in a different direction. So like, he wouldn't meet the Slytherin. And I'll have some altercations in like canon because he wouldn't have one for all. But eventually, we'll get a one for all. But it won't be the same way it happened, or it wouldn't be any close way from now. And I'll give you a hint: the movie. And if you know what movie came around this time, and if you know what happened in the movie, you would know how Deku's gonna get one for all in his canon, but he's not gonna like get it. Like I'm planning to give it to him, but I don't. It would take a lot of character development for Deku right now to accept one for all, and accept that it's not his power right now, because Deku's kind of powerful, but like not too powerful. Let's explain the weakness of Deku's quirk. The more and more that Deku uses his quirk, the more cocky and ruthless that he gets. So the more and more he uses his quirk, that's what happens. That's why Deku always has a nonchalant attitude around him, but exudes A Force, Black Air Force energy. That's what happens. He's sleepy all the time, but like, he exudes Black Force energy all the time. So he needs to keep up with it, right? So he's like, nah, fam. And he just goes home. Nejire is making pancakes. What the fuck she wants to do? I don't know what she's doing. And Deku just sits down on the table and just starts to like take a nap until they wake him up for like dinner or something. And he eats it and he goes to bed. Nejire, Hachime, Momo jump in the bed only wearing a white t-shirt and panties of their selective colors, because I don't know what color panties they wear, because I'm not who is they miss now? I'm not who is it? Who is his name? Damn it. That pervert, bro. That pervert guy. Damn it. Purple head. Damn it. Denki, Kaminari, Bakugo. Denki, Kaminari, Bakugo, Deku, Todoroki, Kirishima. Okay, fuck him. I'm not that guy, okay? So Deku goes to sleep, and they're kind of restless sleepers. So Deku wakes up in the middle of the night, drinks some water, and just starts to watch TV, and just sees
um sees like Hawks, right? And he goes outside and he decides to copy a move from Hawks, and he kind of creates wings. Now we time skip to like the UA exams, and Deku goes to the UA exams, but this time he doesn't fall. So Uraraka and him never meet. He goes into like the first test, and he aces it and gets full marks. Even corrected Nezu on certain stuff. Nezu didn't even pick up on. Then Deku went to like the auditorium and whatever. This time he wouldn't talk because it's not his vibe anymore. He doesn't mumble bullshit, and he just doesn't do that shit. And he just that type of nigga. Like, he goes outside and he goes outside and he goes to like the training area, although the tactical exams, right? The last exam. And Deku's at the front of the gate, and the gate opens. But before anyone could even think to move, Deku stamped on the ground, and in an instant, in a flash, the whole place was covered with black paper with red kanji on it. And then it all disappeared, but it all appeared on the robots, and then Deku said Katsk, and at that exact time, all the robots exploded. Deku killed every single robot in a fraction of a second. No, what? A millisecond. And he just stepped back and walked away. Everyone was shocked to see Deku's overwhelming power. It was weird. He had no regard for anything, but like the collateral damage was none. Even though that the robots would like hit the buildings, it looked like it didn't. It looked like Deku puts up some paper, so when like the robots exploded, the paper would catch the robot parts, so nothing would happen. Deku just walked off and did what he was supposed to be doing and went home. He told Nejire about his like exams and told him that he was definitely gonna go in. And remember, Nejire is actually an E-Weight already because of all of that. So like she doesn't really need to worry about anything. And Hajime comes back and she's also signed up for the spy course and the hero what is called those shit? The support item, of course. Now let's explain Hachime's quirk. Her quirk is called Target. Everything she kinda trolls at and focuses on, she can lock onto it. Which Deku told her that she could pick up some type of gun. But this comes in contact with her other quirk. She has 2 sharp teeth, but those 2 sharp teeth eject a certain poison or liquid that could either numb or kill someone, depends on how she wants to use it. Which she can store into like bullets and just shoot people with them, or syringes, needle bullet things. And she realizes this and decides to take the spy course and the support gear course. So she's going 2 courses, so she has to do extra work. Deku could do support course and hero course, but he doesn't really want to because he's like, I'm not having none of that shit. So the weeks pass and Deku gets his letter and he opens it and it says that he's been accepted into UA, getting the highest scores like ever, even higher than All Might. Deku smirks at that point. Deku has a burning hatred for All Might. It's not as great as his father's, but he does see. Every time he looks at All Might, he kind of like it's something that he imagines, but like kind of sees the figure of his like father, and he completely hates that guy. Like he does not like him one bit, and he's just angry every time he sees All Might. But anyways, days pass, and the first day UA comes around, Deku would be able to come there first, since he's actually got not a recommendation, a scholarship to UA. So he doesn't need to pay for food. He can just collect food and just go off. He has a wristband that allows him to go in each and every classroom there is in the school. And he's gained a seat on the student council just because of that. And all of those things come along with being a scholar, getting a scholarship. So Deku's actually technically a part of this student council, but he doesn't even know that yet himself. Deku goes into class and he pulls out a beanbag from one of his papers and just sits in it and lays on the table. Sits in the back of the classroom and lays on the paper, lays down, gets in the beanbag like Aizawa and just started to sleep. Aizawa walked in and saw this and like, I don't like that kid, and he does the exact same thing Deku did and just starts sleeping. After a few hours, Deku wakes up and sees everyone looking at him, and he kind of like looks at them. He still has his hoodie on, and he takes off the beanbag and looks at him. Now Deku has like red shoes with like his normal UA outfit, but his white hoodie is still on. So the hood is poking out of like the shirt, so like it's still there. So Deku looks at them and takes off the hood, and this is when all the girls get a nosebleed looking at Deku. Well, and him being sleepy makes him more attractive, no homo. And Momo looks at Deku and kind of like has a trickle of blood, not as much as the girls, but like a trickle of blood coming down her nose, and just like looking at Deku and tells him that he kind of needs to stop doing that, or she's gonna lose too much blood on a regular basis. Deku just shakes his head and just looks at her and just kind of smiles, but not too much. He's not noticeable, but she notices, which she actually kind of smiles at that he smiled, because he didn't really do that. But yeah, he went and sit down, and the girls are still looking at him, and Momo comes and sit down on Deku's lap and kiss Deku on the lips and just tells him that next time he should wait on her to wake up so they could go to UA. Deku tells her that he didn't want to wake her up because she was looking too cute, and he just didn't have the time for that either ways. She kind of looks at him, knowing that the cute part was off reflex, just to not anger her, and the real reason he didn't wake her up because he thought it was too much of a bother, because he would have to stay up to talk to her at school, so he was not none of that shit, and he just left. But anyways, she kind of brushes it off and starts talking to Deku until Aizawa wakes up. Aizawa sees this and says, what he said in canon and all that bullshit. Deku looks at him and just like nods his head, like just shakes his shoulder, and just he goes to the changing room. Everyone then Deku for the first time actually shows his fully body. Now Deku's over time has been training, but his body just straight up matured just because of his genes. Made his body he get abs for no reason. So this nigga is shredded, but still have a slender figure, making him look scrawny. But he has a lot of abs and muscles. The guys see this and asking, how the heck is that possible? Deku says he doesn't know. It's just something that happened when he was a kid and just kept on happening for a long time. So he doesn't really bother. Kashima says that's so manly, and Deku puts on his gym uniform and walks out and goes to quirk assessment test. Deku goes to the quirk assessment test and just looks at Aizawa, and Aizawa looks at him and tells him that he got the most scores ever, so shoot the ball. Deku then lets the paper go out of his hand and he slaps it on the bottom of it. He throws the ball and then the balls explode. And then this shocks Bakugo, saying that he has an explosion quirk. Everyone thought that he had an explosion quirk, but Bakugo knew more than that. He knew Deku had a paper quirk that had nothing to do with explosions, but then he saw another paper that Deku had on out in his hand, and he saw the kanji. Bakugo was actually really smart. People look over that, but like he's really smart, and if he could have reached kanji, I would be surprised. So Bakugo can't read kanji, so he saw the kanji for explosion, ice, fire, and acid. He doesn't know if those are the quirks that he enveloped with his paper, but he does have an idea that's what it is. Now Bakugo, I'll get into Bakugo a little bit later, actually. Then he pelts the paper, and the paper splits into multiple papers and creates a bird. The bird opens its mouth and catches the ball, and then it darts off at almost light speed. Bakugo sees this and says, "What the hell?" And Aizawa shows the measure and it says error, and Uraraka gets infinity and all that. Deku aces all the tests after that and just goes back to the class, and they're dismissed for the day. Then they go for lunch. Then after that they can just go home because they have nothing technically to do today. So while Deku and the rest of the class go to lunch, Deku goes to sit down at a different seat than his class, and Momo goes over to sit with Deku and Ida and Uraraka. I let them stay, and like Najiri and Hachime come over. But then Deku goes to get his lunch, where he skips all the lines that they had waited and goes to like the scholarship line, which no one's there because no one got a scholarship before, not even All Might. And All Might did get a scholarship, so yeah, Deku just straight up went there and like ordered a pizza, some fries, with some chicken, with some soba, with a Sprite, with a apple, and some oranges. Give me some milk along with that Sprite, and just give me a whole ton of hot wings. And they gave it to him because the scholarship he did eat a pay, and just like went back to his seat. They ask him why he ate so much, and Deku says like, I don't know, it's because of my quirks, because I never really had problems with eating, but he just eats a lot, and he never gets really hungry, but he just eats a lot for some reason. I understand, and just starts eating. It's not because of his quirk, it's just that he has a very large appetite. The only downfall of his quirk is his pride that goes up every time he uses his freaking quirk, so like, yeah. Deku just goes and just leaves, and that's the end of this what if, bro. Like, tell me down below if you want this what if to go on. I don't know, like I'm trying with it, but like I don't know if this is the right way to go with the what if. If you guys have any ideas if to give what quirk I should give Deku, what quirk I should give him next, or I should stop giving him quirks from now on. They only had the idea of giving him a stock observe his. I was only the idea that I gave was only to give the paper. The only abilities I gave the paper originally gave the paper to do was shock absorption, acid, lightning, and explosions. But and healing. So I if you guys want any more, just tell me and I'll get onto it. So other than that, see you guys, bro. It's been a good time. I'm gonna catch you on that drift, bro.